Hello, hello. Today I'm going to be talking about my entire experience with media aesthetics from start to finish, from the very first email up until like my last post-op visit. So please ignore everything that's happening right here. I have my undershirt under my faja, but my bra is over my faja, so it's like a whole situation going on here. I'm very sorry. Okay, so I think I was just like browsing Real Self and looking at people's results and stuff and looking at all the reviews and seeing like which doctor in Miami is the best doctor. And out of like all the other doctors in Miami, Alvarez was like in my budget and he had no debts. I didn't see any woman that had any type of complication with him. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna choose him. So I shot them an email. They asked me for my before pictures or whatever. So I took my pictures, I sent it in. I felt very uncomfortable doing that, but I did it anyway. They were really quick with their responses though, which is funny because like after I paid, they weren't as quick. But anyway, so they were very quick with their responses. They shot me the price, which the price is the same for everybody with media aesthetics. I guess they just want your before and after pictures to let you know if you're qualified, whatever. So I sent them my deposit. They have this thing where you can either like pay all in full or you can pay over time, like however much money you want to put down. You can put $5 down, 100 down, like whatever, or you can wait until your pre-op visit and then pay the rest off. Like they'll tell you that you can't do that, but you're allowed to do that. Like they let you do that because they love money. They're not gonna turn down your money. So I was just paying like little by little by little by little, whatever, until May 10th when that woman unfortunately passed away. Uh, Under Alvarez's care, and it was so like unfortunate because Alvarez was on Instagram Live the day before saying how he never had a death, and if anyone ever died on the table with him, he would be devastated. And then the next day, it's like he jinxed himself, like his patient just passed away on the table. Like that was very, very sad. I felt really bad for her. But anyway, yeah, so after that happened, a lot of girls were switching from Alvarez to other doctors. Mainly, they were switching over to Mejio. Mejio? Anyway, I wanted to go to Mejio also. I emailed them telling them, like, hey, I would like to switch my doctor. I told them in the email I wanted Mejio, and when they called me, I was at work, and they told me like,
hey, why do you want to switch to Mejio?
And I'm like, why are you asking me? Like, just switch me to Mejio. But I guess because so many other girls were switching over to him, that they were just like, why not choose Charepoo instead? And I'm at work, like, I'm not trying to argue, so I'm just like, alright, cool, just switch me over to Charepoo. And Charepoo was much cheaper. I think he was like 1,500 less than Alvarez. I'm doing the math in my head. Yeah, he was 1,500 less than Alvarez. So I was like, alright, whatever, I'll say 1,500, that could go towards things that I need for the surgery, because I had not even started buying the things that I need. Like, I do everything like last minute. So they switched me to Charepoo. I decided to add on my accessory packet, the faja, the faja, the board, that I'm currently wearing, and my foams and stuff, right? So that was an extra $250, I think. 220. It was 200 something. So it wasn't that bad, I guess. So let me fast forward. I get to Miami. I landed on the 30th. My pre-op was on the 1st. They called me on the 30th, like that afternoon around like 6 p.m. to let me know what time my pre-op was. So like you can't really make any plans when you go down there because you don't know what time your pre-op is or your surgery, because after your pre-op they don't call you until that afternoon also to let you know what time your surgery is. So you can't really make plans when you get down there until you know like what time you're going in there, you know? So they called me in for pre-op. It was like 9 a.m. or whatever, because I made sure to let them know, like, since they expect you to be in Miami 5 days and then you can fly back home, and I was only going to be like on day 4 flying back home. So I told them I requested, you know, to be the first one in and out for surgery, so that would give me extra time to, like, you know, heal and stuff before I get on this plane and go back home. So they also made my pre-op really early in the morning too. So I didn't eat anything because I assumed they were going to be running tests on me at pre-op, but they did not. Like, everyone on these surgery groups and you know, on Instagram and stuff, they tell you, like, you know, pre-op, they run all these tests. The only thing they did when I got there was take my height and my weight. That's all they did when I got there. Did they take my blood pressure? They didn't even take my blood pressure. They usually do with their patients, because I've heard, like, you know, you really get to know the women in the waiting room with you, and they all said that, you know, they got their blood pressure taken. I did not get my blood pressure taken. I guess they assume because, like, I'm so young or whatever. I don't know. Like, that's not a good assumption, though. Like, I could be 19 and still have high blood pressure. Like, that was, like, the first red flag to me. Like, wow, y'all not really running any tests on me. But okay, whatever. Like, I just overlooked it. So the day of surgery, right, they had called me the night before. They told me, like, hey, be there at, I think they told me to be there at 6 a.m. so they could, like, get me ready for the surgery. I got there at 6 a.m. It was me and, like, 2 other people with their, you know, family members, whatever. We were there at 6 a.m. The doors were locked. So we're just standing there getting eaten by mosquitoes, like, and someone finally comes down at around like 6:30. Like, we were waiting out there for 30 minutes. So around 6:30, somebody finally comes around and unlocks the door to let us in. And we get into this little elevator. Oh, I forgot to mention, my pre-op was not the same location as my surgery. So my pre-op was at the main, you know, Mia Aesthetics location. My surgery was at the Seoul location. So that was like a kind of another, like, little red flag for me that anyway, so we get into this little elevator. We go to, like, the 3rd floor, 2nd, 3rd floor. I think it was the 3rd floor. They, you know, you go to the front desk. You sign your name on a little paper like you're at the doctor's office. And then you just sit down and you wait. I think I was only in the waiting room for like about 10-15 minutes. Like, it wasn't a long wait at all. So they called me and the other girl to the back at the same time. They brought us to 2 separate rooms, but they were right next to each other. Now when I walked back there, I started, like, internally freaking out a little bit. Like, and the lady, I don't know what she was, a nurse or whatever, she was like, she asked us, like,
Are you guys excited?
The one girl, she was like,
Oh yeah, I'm so excited.
and I was like, oh. no. I'm more nervous, like kind of scared a little bit, you know? And she was like,
Why you can't be as excited as this girl?
like, this girl probably barely did research and is just excited about new moves, like. But anyway, so I get brought to the back. I'm all nervous. I'm on the verge of tears. I go to this room. There's a bag, a big old white bag with my name on it. And the lady comes in and she tells me, like, hey, take everything off, put it in the bag. All your personal belongings go in the bag. Put on this little gown. They give you the compression socks. They give you the compression socks. I assume that they put the compression socks on you after you were done with surgery, but you put it on yourself before surgery. So they give you the compression socks to put on. And then the feet covers you put on yourself, and your hair cap you put on yourself. So when I got there, I was wearing my bonnet, so it wasn't hard for me to put like all of my twists and stuff in the hair cap because I was wearing a bonnet already. I actually had ripped my gown in 2 places so it wouldn't even like close properly or whatever. And I told the lady that, like, hey, I think I need a new gown, but they said it was fine. And that was like the 3rd red flag to me. Like, is that fine? Like, okay, I guess. So then the anesthesiologist comes in and he'll sit down and he'll talk to you. He'll ask you a bunch of questions, try to get a feel of like your, mental state. At least that's what it felt like to me. Like, it felt like he was asking me, like, why do you want to get this done and stuff like that, making sure that I actually want to do it for me and not for somebody else. And then he was asking me my family history, and he was a really nice guy. I really liked the anesthesiologist. I can't remember what his name was, but he was like, he's the white gay guy, but he was just so nice. Like, I loved him. Even I started crying. I was having a whole breakdown. I was like crying, like bawling my eyes out, and he was like just, I guess used to it, and he was so nice about it. The nurse came, or whatever she is, I don't know. Is she a nurse? Who knows? But she came to start my IV. She put my IV like right here at first. And then she was like expecting it, and then the anesthesiologist was expecting it, and I'm just like looking at them like, what's going on? And I guess she did it wrong, and she just let it go, and it's slowly like sliding out of my hand, and it was just so painful. So I grabbed it between my fingers so it would stop sliding, because it was like a really bad pain. And then when she was done rummaging around for whatever, she pulled it out and then she put it right here. Both times were very painful for me. And that just made me cry even worse. And the anesthesiologist was like holding my hand and stuff, so he was really nice. So after we were done with the talk, the questions, the IV, they were like, all right, well, come with me. And oh my God, like, I was freaking out. Like, I was just having a whole mental breakdown when she said that, and I stood up. My whole body was like shaking. Like, oh my God, I was freaking out. I was like, okay, is it too late to say no? Is it too late to leave right now? Like, that's what I was thinking. But I was like, let me just do this, because I was mainly just afraid of not waking up. Like, because all of these women were just dying from this procedure. Like, not just in the DR, not just in Colombia. They were dying here in America. Like, people were just dying every week, it seemed, because of this procedure. So I was like, man, like, if I don't wake back up and I spent all this money and you don't get a refund, even when you die, your parents ain't seeing that money. So I literally had to like walk myself to the operating room, and I got myself on the operating bed, and they started strapping me in. Oh my god, I was just like, what did I get myself into? Like, the doctor comes in, you see your doctor at, did I see him at pre-op? No. You don't see the doctor at pre-op. You see him the day of surgery. Like, that's when you meet your doctor, which is like another red flag right there. But you know, with these Miami clinic, yeah, they're like chop shops. So like, you're not gonna, what you pay for is what you get, basically. You go to Media Aesthetics, you ain't getting like a 5-star experience. You're at the most getting like a 3, and even that's kind of a stretch with Media Aesthetics. Like, so don't expect much if you ain't paying much, you know? So the doctor comes in, Charepoo, he comes in, and he was like, "Hey, Kimmy, how are you feeling?" I'm surprised he even knew my name. But he was he was like, "Hey, oh, I forgot. After the anesthesiologist is asking all the questions and you get your IV or whatever, the doctor does come in before you go to the operating room. He comes in and he marks you up and stuff. And I was so nervous. Don't do what I did. I was so nervous and so scared and like crying the whole time that I did not tell him what I wanted. So he was telling me what he wanted to do to me instead of me telling him what I wanted. You know, I had so many pictures in my phone, like wish pics that I wanted to look like, but I was freaking out so bad that I didn't even get a chance to show him. So don't do what I did. Even if you're freaking out, even if you're crying in tears, that is very normal. Show them what you want and tell them what you want, because yeah. So anyway, okay, now back to, I'm strapped on the table. He comes in, he's like, "So how we feeling?" And I was like, "I'm feeling alright, but you know, just make sure I wake back up, please." And he just started laughing, and he like walks out the room, and the anesthesiologist was like, "Well, that's kind of my job, and you know, I've been doing this for over 20 years. I got you, you know, people that I want to wake up, they gonna wake up." And I was like, people that want to wake up? Okay, I think everyone wants to wake up. What you mean? But I guess, okay. And so then, you know, someone asked me how it feels when you're being put to sleep. So he told me, "Hey, you're gonna feel a burning sensation, and then you're just gonna be out, right?" I didn't really feel a burning sensation. It felt more like just a warmness overcame me, starting from the tip of my head and just like showered over me. Like, that's what it felt like, just warmness. Like, and then I blinked and I was out. That's it. That's all I felt. There was no burning, no stinging, no pain or nothing. Just warmness all over me. Yeah. So it felt like I was out for only like 5 minutes, and I woke up and I was in this like freezing cold room. I was too sore to like look around, so all I was like staring at was the bed that I was laying on. And I guess I was feeling a lot of pain on my backside, because they have you laying on your back no matter what surgery you got. And I guess I was feeling so much discomfort or whatever that I like subconsciously just rolled myself over onto my stomach. And your stomach, by the way, completely numb. Like, you don't feel nothing. Like, I felt absolutely nothing. Like, I felt like I was laying on just my boobs. Like, I was like, where did my stomach go? Your butt is numb, your back is numb, your lower back is numb. Everything just feels kind of numb, like that he was working on. So you could just feel your arms, your boobs, your legs, you know, your head. That's all you're feeling when you're laying there. I got scolded for rolling onto my stomach because I wasn't supposed to do that. Your IV is still in when you're in post-op, so I guess I could have like got tangled up in my IV or whatever, and that would have been horrible. They have you like closed off like with curtains, so you can't really see anything anyway if you like were to look around. But I know there was a bed to the right of me, and whoever was to the right of me was just like groaning. But the person to the left of me now was like just screaming. Like she was in so much pain. I don't know what kind of procedure she got, but like she was in so much pain. Maybe she got a tummy tuck. Like, is that how you feel with a tummy tuck? Because if so, I don't want it. I think I was laying in that bed for, well, since I woke up, I think it was like maybe 10 minutes I was laying in bed. But I think in total, like while I was sleeping as well, they keep you in post-op for like 45 minutes, I think. 45 minutes to an hour. They got me up on my feet and sat me directly on my butt, like onto the wheelchair. You don't feel any pain when you're sitting on your butt in the wheelchair. Like you're just feeling discomfort. As she was rolling me to the elevator, so I heard a few girls say that they roll you out to the back and then like, you know, you get in your Uber and you leave or whatever. I was not rolled out to any back. I was actually rolled out like in the front, like where everyone can see me. Like everyone can see you when you're being rolled out. Like people pre-op, post-op, about to get surgery, like they all are seeing you right after surgery getting rolled out, okay? You're on the same elevator they're on when you're like going down to your Uber or Lyft or whatever. It was a little uncomfortable. I felt a little embarrassed, but also not really because they're there for the same reason, you know? She ran me into a wall like twice. I guess maybe she thought like I wouldn't remember or something. Maybe she thought I was like out of it, but I actually was not out of it like at all. I was very coherent and very much like aware of everything that was happening. When my lift got there, she actually set up the back of my lift for me with the little pads. I want to say puppy pads, but they're not called puppy pads, so I don't know the real name for it. But she set it up for me to lay down in the back so I don't get blood on the news, like whatever. Yeah, and then I was off to my hotel. So, post-op, your first post-op, which is the day after, you can't shower or nothing until after your post-op visit. So, post-op the day after, you go in. I was still at the Seoul location. You go in, same floor, third floor, but you're in a different room. You're in a waiting room. Then they bring you to like your own little private room in the back. I think I was waiting there for like what felt like forever. Like I think it had to have been like 30 to 45 minutes. Like it was almost an hour that I was waiting in that freaking room for Charepoo to show up. Like I almost left. Like even my mom was texting me like, all these people are coming in and out and you still back there. And I was like, yeah, like what's the issue? So I'm just back there. I ripped the gown again. Like I don't know what's wrong with me and like surgical gowns. I'm always just ripping them. Even at work, because I work in an OR, I'm always just ripping surgery gowns. Like I don't know what's wrong with me. But anyway, I ripped the gown again, but I was rummaging around in their stuff like I always do that, and I found another gown to put on. I ended up ripping that one too. So when Charepoo finally showed up, he looked at me for like 5 minutes and then it was over. Like, like you had me waiting almost an hour just to come in for 5 minutes and say,
"Oh, everything looks good. Your incisions look really well."
And then he looked at my chin and he was like,
"Well, your chin is already looking snatched."
And I'm like, okay. Like, I was annoyed. Like, you had me waiting this long just to say these stupid things. Like, you ain't telling me nothing that I can already see myself when I look in the mirror. After that, I was allowed to go back to the hotel. And then your next post-op visit, which is your last one, you only get 2. Unless you request more than 2. I did not request more than 2, so my last post-op visit was the day before my flight going home. This one was at the first Mia Aesthetics, like the main location. So my pre-op was at Mia Aesthetics, surgery and first post-op was at the Seoul location, and then my last post-op was at Mia Aesthetics. During my last post-op, I was in a waiting room with like 15 other women who were also post-op, and it was just like a mess in there because like we couldn't sit down, so there were women like on their knees. This one girl, she had her little boppy pillow, so she was sitting on her pillow and she was looking like she never even had surgery. There was a girl that was like laying down on a bench. I was just standing. I walked around a little bit. I kneeled on a bench or whatever. It was just a mess in there. Like it looked a mess. One of the girls at the front desk was extremely rude. Like when I walked up to her when I first arrived and I told her like, hey, I'm here for my post-op appointment, she didn't even look at me, like didn't even make eye contact. She was just like,
Okay, sign in.
like with an attitude. I'm like, what is happening? Okay, let me just sign in and walk away because okay. So I signed in, walked away. I think I was waiting there for like 30 minutes before I finally got called to the back. And it wasn't Charepoo that saw me this time. It was like a nurse practitioner. At least that's what she claimed that she was. You never know with these clinics, to be honest. So she comes in and she starts looking at all my incisions again and stuff, and she said, you know, you look fine. You're okay to, you know, she cleared me to go on the airplane. Also, at your last post-op visit is when you get your little airplane slip or whatever, if you want like special treatment basically on your airplane. I did not get that slip because I didn't think I would need it, I guess. I don't know, but I really suggest you get that slip. After that, I decided to buy another pair of compression socks because mine were just ruined. They were completely ruined, just covered in blood. There was no getting that blood out. So I decided to buy another pair and to also get some arnica pills. So when I went back up to the front desk, the rude girl was still there, and I was like, hey, how much are arnica pills and compression socks? And she was just like, still no eye contact, was just like,
Let me check.
and I'm like, do you not want to be here? Like, do you not want a job? Who is your supervisor? Like, so she goes on the computer, just slow as a snail, typing in whatever, I guess looking up the prices, and then she told me what the prices were, and I was like, alright, I'll take one of each. And she was like, she took a long pause, and she was like,
Okay, how are you paying?
and I was like, card, and she was like, okay, and that was it. Like she didn't even look at me or nothing. So I'm like, okay, I'm assuming you want me to give you my card. That's what I'm assuming because you're not making eye contact. You're not telling me. So I just like handed her my card. She swiped it or whatever, and then she gave me the stuff. And she like slammed it on the freaking desk, whatever, in front of me. And I'm like, girl, you lucky I'm like post surgery. Like you lucky I just had surgery 4 days ago because this would have been a whole different story if I was pre-surgery. Like, don't let me go back down there anytime soon and see her again, because I remember faces. Like, if I were to go back down there tomorrow, it would be on site with her, because she was so rude for no reason. Like, why are you this rude working in a post-op area with all these women that just had surgery? Like, we already in pain and discomfort. We don't need your attitude on top of all of that, okay? Like, Mia Aesthetics really needs to, it's, I guess it all goes back to, like, what you pay for is what you get. When you go to Mia Aesthetics, it's like a whole bunch of just, like, younger adults in there, basically. Like, that's, so I guess, you know, it's to be expected, all the attitude and all that. But anyway, my battery's about to die. Let me hurry up. after that, you know, I went home, whatever. I took a picture, right, like a before and after when I got home, and my butt looked exactly the same as it did before I even had surgery. So I was like freaking out, and I sent them an email and I asked them like how many cc's did he put in each cheek, because I remember my little wristband, it tells you on your wristband. Mine said 1,500 cc's. So I was like, does that mean he put 1,500 in each cheek, or is that like 650, or however, what's half of 1,500? 750? 750 in each cheek, because it would make sense if you put 750 because that's what it's looking like. But she told me it was 1,500, and I'm just gonna have to take her word for it, I guess. But anyway, yeah, that was basically it with my experience at Mia Aesthetics. My foot is asleep. Hold on. Oh, Jesus. Woo. I'm gonna have to film the end of this video like this because my feet keep falling asleep. So anyway, I would give it, you know, a 3 out of 5. It wasn't too bad. Like, the place was pretty clean. It looked pretty sterile. You know, no issues there. It's just, you know, they could do a little bit better on the staff. And like, whoever that lady was that was putting my IV in, like, she needs a little bit of training. I feel like we should be seeing the doctor more than just twice while we're down there, you know? But yeah, this video was requested. I hope I answered like all the questions. If you have any more questions, you could just follow me on Instagram. I answer like all of my DMs and stuff, and I plan on posting a lot more like before and after pictures when my stage 2 faja comes in, which would be sometime like next week or whatever. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. My battery's about to die. Thank you for watching.